I've done a fair amount of videos here criticizing Sony, so it's about time I pivot and talk about a different company that's well deserving of some attention. Microsoft. A series of decisions made by their Xbox decision has left me wondering who's really running the company and what version of reality they're living in, because from this side of things, they've become an equivalent of a tragic vaudevillian comedy. I'm old enough to remember when Microsoft first stepped into the console gaming space. It was a rather big deal. At the time, Sony and Nintendo were the dominant forces, as Sega was already well on their way out the door. Microsoft was regarded pretty strictly as a software company. They didn't make hardware. So starting a new division to produce gaming consoles was met with a mixture of interest and suspicion. Microsoft fans welcomed the Xbox, while others saw it as an intrusion, as Microsoft sticking its nose somewhere it didn't belong. However, in the end, Microsoft proved that it could stand on its own, and carved out a sizable market share, thanks largely to exclusive games like Halo and Fable. Microsoft was able to roll those successes into their sophomore console, the Xbox 360, likewise supported by games like Halo and Gears of War. Though the 360 was plagued by persistent hardware failures due to bad heat management, it still managed to dominate most of that console generation, thanks in part because of Sony's awful marketing and PR around the launch of the PS3. But Sony mounted a comeback. They attempted to make up for their missteps, and by the end of the generation, the PS3 had edged out the 360 in total sales. And while Sony had learned from their mistakes, Microsoft did not, leading to one of the most disastrous product launches since the Zune. With the Xbox One, Microsoft went wrong right out of the gate. At the reveal event, they focused on the console's ability to be used as a cable pass-through, as well as its social media connectivity. The only game they really showed off at the reveal event was a Call of Duty title. From this event, the message was clear. Microsoft intended to abandon making gaming consoles in favor of an all-in-one set-top box. Gamers felt a profound sense of betrayal at this. Microsoft had used them to build a brand only to toss them aside to chase a bigger market that they believe existed.
We believe we can evolve what you love to make it decidedly better.
Decidedly better.
This was a massive miscalculation, but it wasn't their only problem. Microsoft also sought to bring PC-style DRM to the Xbox, which did not play well with console gamers. The ensuing backlash caused Microsoft to backpedal on most of what was intended to be Xbox One's major selling points, relegating it back to being primarily just a gaming console. But even there were issues. As time passed, PS4 began to deliver award-winning console-selling exclusives, and Xbox did not keep up. A large number of games that were announced never saw the light of day, and the ones that did, well...
Nama, nama, nama! Have you two met my very own taste? Oh yeah! Boom shakalaka!
Let's just say there were some issues with quality. As a result, the Xbox One era dealt a hard blow to the Xbox brand. That brings us up to the current generation, where the oddly named Xbox X has been up against Sony's PS5, and as if conscious of their past failings, Microsoft sought to make a definitive statement to actually make games for their console, buying several major studios such as Bethesda's parent company ZeniMax for $7.5 billion, and Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion, and this is an example of Microsoft refusing to learn from the mistakes of others. They are not the first company to try to buy their way out of trouble, of acquiring popular brands in hopes of riding them to success. Disney tried this when Bob Iger led the company to buy Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and Fox, shelling out billions of dollars in hopes it would pay off. And at present, we can safely say it has not. Disney has been left with a number of damaged brands that were worth more before they bought them. Then there's Embracer Group, a Swedish holding company that threw around tons of cash to buy up video game studios and IPs, again with the obvious intent of turning those acquisitions into healthy returns. But the games they published crashed, more money was lost, and now Embracer is selling their acquired IPs and breaking up into 3 separate entities. Microsoft is now in the same boat, having spent billions on companies whose glory days are behind them, leaving them with no choice but to offset their expenditures by reducing costs, and that comes with a human price tag. In January, Microsoft laid off 1,900 jobs, which amounted to almost 9% of Xbox's gaming division. In May, they shuttered 3 studios, Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, and AlphaDog Studios. A 4th, Roundhouse, is to be absorbed by ZeniMax, and there is news that this isn't the end. More cuts and layoffs will follow. Now, Microsoft is not the only one laying off staff and shuttering productions. The whole gaming industry and Hollywood are being hit with the unsustainability of past business models. The question is, will they learn their lesson? Will they stop trying to buy advantages and give up the belief that slapping a name on something will deliver success? Will they be able to focus back down on what their audiences and customers want? Will they be able to deliver smaller, simpler experiences to reignite interest and passion in dying mediums? Well, I'm a cynic, and while I can say there's still a chance, I don't hold much hope. Companies like Microsoft have become so detached from their customers, they don't seem to know how to make what they want. And even if they did, there's still far too much politics involved that would hinder their ability to actually deliver it. I'm afraid it's going to get worse before it gets better. Though I do hope it gets better. I hope creatives that have been displaced by all this reshuffling will find a way to come together, to build something new, that can change the industry for the better. But as always, this is just one Rebel's opinion. If you appreciated this commentary, please leave a like. Subscribe to the channel so you'll always get the newest updates, right here on Rebel Normal.